Hey everybody, welcome. This is the next episode of Coach MJ, TriRight Coaching, just here to help you be a better athlete. And this week's video is just about planning for and training for your first triathlon. And actually, maybe that's a misleading title because it doesn't have to be your first triathlon. I think you maybe could have done triathlon before, but these tips are going to help you maybe do a better triathlon, have a better race, be better prepared for the next triathlon that you do. Hey Morgan, hey Jim, hey Jackie, thank you guys so much for hopping in. This is Coach MJ here again each week, 7 p.m. Sundays, Central Standard Time, to just giving you different tips on how to become a better athlete. So this week's bonus, all you have to do is go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus to get your bonus. This week, to get this schedule to help you plan your race, even if you're not racing, guys, just to help you plan something out. This schedule, it's really kind of cool, actually. All you have to do is share this video, and you will be entered in the raffle for that. Hey Maribel, hey Darlene, hey Lisa. The replay again, really? Oh gosh. Hey Susie. Susie, where have you been, girl? I was kind of hoping I would see you on Saturday. Hey Candace, hey Jennifer. Froze again. Sorry guys, I don't know what to tell you. Moving on to the TriRight Coaching page, because a lot of my friends on my personal page don't really care about a lot of what we talk about. So anyway, the first thing you need to understand, number one, the first thing you need to understand about triathlons are the distances. And there are 4 major distances. So you have a sprint, an Olympic, a half Ironman, and an Ironman. And here's how they go. A sprint triathlon is generally 800-meter swim, and then a 13-mile bike and a 5K run. Sometimes I've seen sprints where they're 600 meters or 400 meters, but 800 is generally the distance for the swim and a sprint. And you can see anywhere from 11 or 12 to maybe 15 or 16 miles on the bike for the run, and maybe 3 or 4, on the bike, and then 3 to 4 miles on the run. Okay, so that's a sprint. An Olympic distance is a 0.9 mile swim, 24.7 mile bike, and then a 10K, so 6.2 mile run. That's your Olympic. All right, I'm glad. Thanks, Jim. I don't know. Can't get you live. Tech difficulty. I don't understand why it's difficult on this page, but this is what I'm doing. So that's Olympic, that's sprint. Half Ironman is a 1.2 mile swim, a 56 mile bike ride, and then a 13.1 mile run, so half marathon at the end of a half Ironman. That's a 70.3. And then a full Ironman, so the 140.6, the Dalai Lama, right, guys, of triathlon, is a 2.4 mile swim, a 112 mile bike, and then a marathon, a 26.2 mile run. That is an Ironman distance, okay? So what I recommend, and I have coached people in different ways, but what I recommend is that you don't start with a half Ironman or an Ironman for your first triathlon. Maybe work your way up to that. And I know people have big goals, and Ironman has this prestige, and people want that M.dot tattoo and all that stuff. But work your way up to it. It's okay. It's okay to do a sprint or an Olympic in 1 year, and then the next year do a half Ironman, and even the following year do an Ironman. So if you really want to play your cards right, I recommend starting with a shorter distance, get used to it, get efficient at that distance, and then move up to the longer, bigger distances. Hey Lilia. Or 58 miles of Chattanooga. Oh yeah, Chattanooga. Well, and that's the other thing. Isn't Chattanooga also the Ironman's also a longer bike? It's like a 116 miles or something like that. Ironman, not your future. Maribel, never say never. You never know. You never know. Before I go on, I wanted to announce last week's winner. Last week, I was raffling off this triathlon checklist. It's actually a towel. It's actually a really cool, bright transition towel that I was raffling off, and it has a cool checklist on it. So that is going to Anita. Hold on. Anita Martin. Anita Martin, all you have to do is to message me your mailing address, and I will ship that transition towel out to you, and you'll be ready to use that for your next race. All right. That's not working. I don't know. Yeah, 116. So it's working. Sorry, guys. The live is working for some of you and not for others. Okay, number 2 is to build your base. And, you know, for those of us that have been training for a while, it might not seem like a whole lot of work to get out and do a 3-mile run or a 6-mile run or even like a 25-mile bike ride. That might not be a big deal. But if you are new to the sport and just getting into it, 3 miles might be a tough thing to do, and a 25-mile bike ride might be really hard to do. Same thing with a swim. So what you want to do is to build that base and start slow and build your way up. And the way you want to do that, there's a few rules I put down for to build your base. And the base could take a few months, and it depends on how big of a base you want. I will tell you, the stronger and bigger the base you have, the better season you are going to have. So the first thing is the rule of 10%. And I think I've said this before, but you never want to increase your training time or miles by more than 10% each week, because it just is too much. It's too taxing on the body. It increases your risk of injury, and it doesn't give your body a chance to actually absorb the work that you're doing. So you want to make sure that you go up only 10%. So if you're used to doing a 3-mile run as your long run, next week, don't go out and try 6 miles, okay? So you want to maybe go out and go 3.5 for your long run, or maybe even a 4-mile run. Then the next thing is periodization. And periodization, you guys, means that you have to take what's called rest weeks or step back weeks. And what that means is that you might do a 3-mile run, a 4-mile run, back down to 2, and then a 5-mile and a 6-mile, back down to 3, and then an 8-mile and a 9-mile, back down to 4. Okay, so and that means your long runs, and you want to make sure that you plan rest weeks and rest days in. Okay, I have so many people that just want to go, and they never want to take that step back time or week. And I'll tell you guys, remember this. You're not getting stronger by doing those tougher workouts. Yeah, I said that. You're getting stronger by letting your body recover from that tough workout, right? So if that long run is the longest run you've ever done and it's 6 miles, you've got to let your body take that in and your muscles recover before you go back and build onto that. Okay, that's when you become stronger. That's when you build up. So, hey, Vil, it was so good to see you yesterday. Okay, so the periodization. And number 3 is aerobic base. And you want to make sure that you have a nice, big, strong aerobic base before you do any kind of triathlon training and any kind of endurance sports, really. You want to make sure that you have spent a lot of time in that aerobic zone, right? Zone 2 and 3. So those are zones where you are able to talk, you're able to have a conversation. I mean, maybe not if you're swimming, right? But if you're on a bike or if you're on a run, you don't want to be like, you know, that's not your aerobic base, guys. That's kind of a higher level. So you want to make sure you have a nice, big, strong aerobic base, and you can do that for months and months. And that's a really good time to spend December, January, February, sometimes even March, building that aerobic base, because the stronger that is, the easier it will be for you to transition into the harder, longer, tougher workouts that you need to do to have a faster race. So, hey, Ryan. Aw, thank you, Ryan. I appreciate that. That's so sweet. Darlene, yeah, I don't know. I don't understand why this page is having a hard time with the live videos, but, I mean, if it stinks, then maybe I need to go back to my personal page, but I'm really trying hard not to do that. Hey, Robert. Thanks for hopping in. So, again, you guys, if you want to win the giveaway this week, because if you're going to plan your first triathlon, you need to document. Oh, my God, I can't say enough about it. But I'm going to give away this schedule planner. It's really kind of cool for you to write down your workouts and stuff. And a lot of people I know log their workouts online and through technology and electronically. And I'll tell you right now, nothing wrong with that. I think that's cool. But there's something, at least for me personally, about writing stuff down that really, really helps me to remember and to absorb. So even if I'm doing a class online or even if I'm in a meeting, you know, I like to write notes down even if someone else is doing it, because watching it or reading it is different for me than writing out my notes, because then that helps me remember better. And here's it. Hey, Mary, I saw you got your bike. Thank you. Thanks. Yes, tiny shoes. Hey, Maribel, it's Facebook. Oh, gosh, I'm so sorry, you guys. Happy Mother's Day for all your mothers out there. But yeah, so this schedule, this little booklet, it will help you. But I'm gonna raffle this away. All you have to do to win this week, you guys, is share the video. Share this with someone that you know could use this information, who's a newer triathlete, or maybe they've done a few triathlons but could use a little bit of advice on how to get better and how to make their training just kick it up one notch, right? Take it to the next level. All right. Right, Jackie? Okay, so let me just tell you really quick about writing workouts down. I got into the habit right when I got into the sport about writing all my workouts down. I had a little calendar. I printed it out on Outlook, I think it was. Yeah, Outlook? I don't know. I printed the calendar, and I would write my swim and bike and run and strength training, and I would write all that down, and then I would highlight, in different colors what the workouts were. And somewhere along the line, and that was, 2002 or 3. And somewhere along the line, and probably like 2007 or 8, I kind of got out of that habit of keeping track of my workouts. And I really wish I hadn't, because sometimes when you have like a great race or a great season, you want to know what you did to make it so good. And you think right now, oh, I'll totally remember. No, you won't. Well, at least if you're me, you won't. And you'll be like, man, what did I do? Or even like when you start to feel tired or slow or you get injured, you can look back and your training log is going to show you so much stuff that you thought you knew. And then all of a sudden you look back and you're like, man, I did 5 runs in that 1 week. No wonder why my feet are killing me, or I developed shin splints, or whatever it is that you do. Because when you're doing them day by day, it's one thing. But if you can go back and look at a calendar, look at a log of all those workouts, it can be super, super helpful to determine kind of what you need to do or not do moving forward. Oh, sorry, Lilia. Hayville, can't see. I have no idea, guys. I know that's maybe why the number of viewers is so low tonight, but sorry, this is what I'm doing. Okay, so number 3, swim, bike, run. And that is when you're going to add in. So in the beginning, when you're building your base, and you're periodizing, right? Or building and following that rule of 10%, you maybe are doing 1 workout a day, a swim or a bike or a run. But then the next step is to kind of add them together, where you can start doing bricks. You can, and the most important brick, you guys, is a bike run. Swim to bike, yeah, it's important. Not as important as a bike run, because generally your legs are going to feel a little bit like jello when you get off that bike, and that is something that you can develop the feel for that. You can get used to it, but when you're a new triathlete, it's so weird. It's the weirdest thing, because you think you're okay and you think, oh, I'm fresh, and you get off that bike and you start to run. You're like, whoa, wait a minute, what is this feeling? So it's really, really good to get used to that feeling. But so swim, bike, run, you want to start developing that. And as a general rule of thumb, and everybody's different, guys, don't shoot me here, but everybody's different. As a general rule of thumb, you can do 2 workouts per week per discipline. Okay, so if there are 7 days in a week, you can do 2 swims, 2 bikes, 2 runs, and then have your day off, right? So that's 6 workouts. That's generally what you want to do. Now, when you start doubling up, or you start adding strength training, or you start adding some other kind of cross training in there, you are probably going to have to add to that. So maybe do a swim and a strength on a day. But as a general rule of thumb, 2 workouts per discipline per week. Hey, Nora, thank you for sharing the video. Before I go on, I want to tell you that next week's video is going to be open water swim tips. And I know a lot of you want that. Those are valuable. And they're going to tie in with our open water swim clinic that's coming up in Naperville, May 31st. Okay, There's no charge for it. You do have to pay $3 to get into Centennial Beach after 5 p.m., but as far as TriRight goes, we are not charging for that. We just want you guys to be ready and comfortable for your first triathlon. So the next thing, so swim, bike, ride. When I'm raffling off next week, a pair of goggles. Another pair, guys, of the Speedo goggles. It's really important to have good goggles for your open water swims, and I'll tell you, don't think that sometimes the same goggles you use in the pool aren't going to be the same thing that you would use in a triathlon, because I'll tell you right now, these Vanquishers, if you can see, guys, that they're mirrored, I'd never use these in a pool. I mean, some people do, but you know why I won't? Because that's super dark. That makes the pool dark. It makes it hard for me to see where the wall is before I turn. But they're great for open water swimming because, first of all, you don't need to see where you are in the water because the water's pretty much dark anyway. But it will help you if you are swimming into the sun, help reflect some of that sunshine. You can't find good goggles. Oh, Jackie, that's totally personal. What works for me isn't going to work for her, isn't going to work for him. That's something you have to continue to try, and you might go through 5 or 6 or maybe even 10 pairs of different goggles before you find one that actually works for you. Cornering will be a big help. Oh gosh, Ryan, I wish you were closer, because yes, that is definitely something that we practice in our open water swim clinic. It's Maribel. My phone died. Your phone, F-O-N-E, died. Oh, you're so funny. But glad that you're here. Okay, number 4, you guys, is structure. And one thing that's super helpful when planning for racing, whether it be triathlon or marathon running or whatever, is to have a structure, is to have a calendar, is to have a plan of what you're going to do moving forward. Because sometimes when it's written out, whether it be in a format like this, where you're going to say, this day I do this, I do this, I do that. Whether it's that or it's electronic or whatever, putting that on your calendar and blocking out time for that is very helpful for a couple things. One, because you got to get it done, and it helps show you a big picture what you need. But number 2, it helps hold you accountable, because you want to make sure that you put your training into your calendar just like you would any other appointment. And I know so many people, and myself included, that at least when I started, as soon as I got busy, the first thing that I would push off my schedule would be my workout. Well, that's not going to be helpful. So what you want to do is make sure that you treat it just like any other appointment that you have, and block out the time for it. So having a schedule, having a calendar for that, having some structure to it is going to be super helpful. And again, the structure also helps you with periodization, because you can know that you're going to go, this is a build week, step back, build, step back, build, step, and you can look at it all in like a monthly format, and it'll be much easier to help you plan out what you need to do moving forward. You broke 2 already. You broke 2 phones? Seriously? All right, number 5. And this one, okay. Oh my gosh, this week's bonus, you guys. This week's bonus, I am doing a 12-week online training program. Okay, I did it last year, but this year is new and improved, so much better this year. But I'm going to give away one training program. It's a 12-week program to train for your first triathlon, sprint triathlon. It's called Triology 101. Okay, and so all you have to do is go to TriRightCoaching.com/bonus, and you will be entered in a chance to win that. And it's a $200 value. That's how much that training plan is going for. And it starts in the next week. So you broke your goggles. So swim 3 days, bike 3 days, run 3 days. No, Ryan, that's 9 days. 2, 2, 2. 2, 4, 6. There are 7 days in a week, and always a day off. Always, always, always a day off. Unless you're Morgan, and you can have 1 day off every 10 days instead of every 7. But I recommend 1 day off every 7 days. And number 5, and this is kind of a bonus, is to work your weakness. So just like I just said, that 2, 2, 2, 2 swims, 2 bikes, 2. Oh, Janine's not even on here, but totally normal nails this week. A little boring, but one thing you want to do is to work your weakness. In fact, I just had a conversation with one of my clients earlier today whose work schedule is really getting in the way of all the training that we're planning for. And so the first thing that we're going to do is drop that strength training, because specificity is key. If you have to drop any workouts, that's going to be anything that is not swim, bike, or run. I don't care what it is. If you can't fit it all in, those are the first ones to go. Then the next thing, and not that you have to drop workouts, and I hope that you don't, but sometimes life gets in the way. You want to work the weakness. So, and here's what we tend to do. People tend to favor or do more of what they're already good at, okay? So if swimming is my strength, and I love doing it. I love going to the pool. I love getting in open water if it's convenient. I don't ever want to skip a swim because I like it and it's fun. But in reality, that's the last thing I need to do. The last thing I need to do would be like, oh yeah, I don't really like running all that much, so I'm gonna skip that run. It's the last thing you want to do. You want to work the weakness. So swap that bike for that run, if you have to compromise. Now I know there are some people out here that no matter how many workouts that are put on your plan, you're going to get them all in, you're going to get them done. But when time is of the essence and it's a factor and other things are getting in the way of your schedule, what you really want to do is focus on that weakness. So if your weakness is that swim, plan an extra one. So instead of 2 swims a week, maybe you put 3 in and swap one out for a bike or a run. Okay? So maybe that's what you need to do. Whatever it is. How do you know what your weakness is? It's generally what you like the least. Okay? We tend to like what we're good at. It's just human nature. So the workout that you like the least is probably what you're not the best at. The other way to do it is, if you have done a triathlon in the past, go and look at all the results, and not just overall where you ranked, but look at where you ranked in the swim and the bike and the run. And I'll tell you guys, when I started out, and this is kind of how everything changed for me and where I really started to focus my training, because I used to do 2 swims, 2 bikes, 2 runs. I would just follow a general training program, and that's what I was doing. And for the first year of my triathlon racing, I would come in, I don't know, the top 20% in the swim and the top 20% in the bike, and then the run would be like the bottom 20%. And it would be, and I remember, and I'm not going to say her name here, but I remember a friend of mine text me one day, and she said, wow, great race. If you could ever really learn to run, you might be a good triathlete one day. And I was like, oh, she just said it. Yeah, she said it, and she was right. So I started swimming a little less. Instead of swimming 2 days a week or even 3 days a week, I dropped a swim. So I used to swim with the Ducks in Downers Grove Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. So I stopped swimming on Saturdays, and I swapped that swim for a run. And that is when it started to come together. So to swap out the weakness, the strength, swap out the strength for weakness. Okay. Hey, Jennifer, thanks for hopping in. You just dropped TCX. Oh, Jackie, see, and like, you know, again, ideally you don't have to drop anything, but the fact of the matter is, like, we're all busy. We all have lives. We all have stuff to do, and TCX is great. Maybe not at this time of the year when your volume is definitely going to start picking up too, right? But in your off season, in your November, December, January, February, awesome. Add that, do it, and then as things get a little more structured and a little more closer to your event, you may have to drop some of those extra workouts to make sure that you focus on what you're actually doing in the race, swim, bike, run. All right. So guys, I'm just about to hop off here, and I wanted to make sure that if you wanted to win this schedule that you can plan, it doesn't even have to be triathlon, guys. This is just like a kind of cute little calendar. All you have to do is share this video on your own Facebook page or with a group that you know some people might benefit, or with a specific person that you might know might benefit from some of these tips. And then next week is open water swim tips, and I'm raffling off another pair of Vanquisher goggles, which are super popular. So, but open water swim tips, though, that's another huge one. And we are doing a clinic May 31st. Oh, and one more thing, doing a transition clinic on May 22nd, so a week from tomorrow. in Homer Glen. If any of you are local to Chicago and you want to hop in on that, there's no charge for that too, but we're going to show you how to move easily from swim to bike and bike to run and make everything all easy for race day. Are there any strength plans specific to each discipline? Absolutely, Nora. Absolutely. I have a strength workout that I give my athletes that is strictly for triathlons. So every single exercise that I prescribe for them helps with being a better triathlete. It's not just, bicep curls, because that you don't, when you do that in triathlon, you don't. So yes, there are definitely plans to do that. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please share the video. I'm sorry that, some of you guys had some technical difficulties tonight. Hopefully Facebook clears those up, because I really want to stay live and active on this page. I need more people to be watching these videos to keep these up. I hope you find the information valuable. Hope you have a happy Mother's Day and a great week, and I'll see you back here next Sunday night, 7 p.m. Central Time, where we will talk about open water swim tips. All right? Have a great night.